Welcome back for Season 2 of Everyday Business Solutions. My name is Haley Morris. I'm your podcast coordinator and host. Our podcast aims to bring the expertise of business professionals straight to your ears. And for this season, we're going to be talking about important connections and how you can utilize them to elevate your career to the next level. If that's something that you're interested in, just keep listening.
Hi, Haley. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
A little bit nervous, a little bit,
I'm shocked.
Podcast, but I know you'll make it comfortable and wonderful, so.
You're like a little social butterfly. Everybody knows Jill, so it's...
I don't know. That could be a good thing or a bad thing at times, but yeah.
I just assume it's good and everybody will believe it, right?
We'll go with that.
So. All right. So, Jill, we brought you on today because, the one thing that's really great about the seasons of connections and the benefits it can have for your business is that we're really looking at different ways to connect to our communities, to our employees, to our team members, to our customers, and the different things that we can do with that. And one of those things is a lot of how we can get involved to connect beyond our business and the benefits that it brings back to us. And so you have introduced me to a lot of industry professionals and industry groups and things like that. And you're the exact person that we can really dive in and open up that can of worms and say, okay, yes, networking, connecting, and driving those relationships is important, but here's where you could do it, and here's why it's important. So to start off with, I'm going to ask you to just, for those people who don't know Jill already, can you give us a little bit of your background and why I brought you on particularly today?
All right. Well, Haley, I could probably take up the next hour giving the background because I like to talk a lot, actually. I think you know that about me, but I'll try and keep it brief. I grew up in the janitorial industry. My dad and my uncle, actually my grandfather had started a distribution company for cleaning supplies. My dad and my uncle then founded a building service contractor, Kellermeyer Building Services. I never grew up thinking that I wanted to sell toilet paper and toilet bowl cleaner as a living. When I graduated from college, I did decide that I wanted to join the family business. I did go on the distribution side. So I did that for about 25 years. I started in sales, opening up a territory, and worked my way up until I was president. In 2017, I needed to take a step back and thought I wanted to get out of the industry. I had some family things going on, and I became a real estate agent. So I completely did a huge transition in my life, became a real estate agent. And then in 2018, I met Archie at AA Solutions. He said, I've got this janitorial software, and I went with him as a consultant to our annual trade show. I walked in and went, I'm home. Realized how much I really did love the industry, and I really loved what Archie brought to the cleaning world, and it was just kind of a match. So that's the overview of my background, how it comes to networking and community engagement. Throughout my time as a salesperson with Kellermeyer and then leading the company, obviously with real estate, I wanted to get involved in the community and give back. I'm a big believer in the Northwest Ohio community. Currently, I kind of have the I can't say no disease. So I'm currently on the Toledo-Area Small Business Association board. I'm on the Government Affairs Committee and the Leadership Fund with the Toledo Chamber. I'm chairman of the board of United Way of Greater Toledo, and I am a Habitat Pro, and on the weekends I do a lot of work with Habitat and try and make a difference to the community. It's a lot, but, I'm very blessed that I have the ability to do that, and throughout my entire career, I do it because it's the right thing to do for our community. I want to give back. I really do love Northwest Ohio, but I get so much benefit out of doing these different activities. It's a great mental health break to kind of get away from the everyday business and get a chance to meet people, see what's going on in the community, give back. It's been a phenomenal learning experience. And yeah, it's just really cool. Some of the things that I've gotten to see and do and learn, it's doing the right thing, but there's so many benefits that come of it.
It is, I mentioned this to you before, I think before we started this recording, and that is, I also have sat with Debbie Sardone. So our
She's
listeners,
a great lady.
Yes, our listeners will have probably just listened to her episode or will be going back to listen to it if they haven't already. And that was one of the things that we talked about with where she started with her cause and taking all of this good and bringing it to cancer patients and wrapping it up and things like that, is that just that feel-good feeling is sometimes like the extra boost of energy you need to get through like a long work day or just making a work day not seem like work because you know what you're kind of doing. Like it makes you feel good about life in general. So
yeah, a lot of gratitude when I go out and see what others are dealing with in their lives and be able to make a difference. When the pandemic hit, food insecurity in Northwest Ohio, a lot of the kids were getting their meals through their schools. And United Way really sprung into action and started building meal kits and grabbing volunteers. And I was able to go and help give out meal kits, build meal kits and give out meal kits to kids who might not have a chance to eat and making that difference and helping beat the food insecurity. Learning real quick, we all pivoted when the pandemic started. How are we going to help? I'm on the digital strategy committee with United Way too. How are we going to quickly get students that are learning from home the technology they need to stay active in their schools? How are we going to help the teachers? Sometimes teachers don't have home computers. How are we going to help them get connected? And it's the things that we might take for granted. And just a couple hours of time will make a huge service. I could go on and on about things that I've learned about the community, but it really is making a difference. And yeah, there's a huge business benefit. It clears my mind. I like to recommend to business leaders, a great incentive for your employees and a great way to give back is give your employees paid time off for a volunteer opportunity. It will give them a refresher in their head to get out. And, it's hard it's such a balance. I give back and I'm involved in all of these entities because it's the right thing to do. And I know it makes a huge impact on the community. For me personally, I like it because, again, I get to learn, I get to meet people. I remember one time, Habitat for Humanity, I was allowed to I got to volunteer for a demo day. And this was a Monday. And they had a house that they bought and refurbished, or they were in the process of refurbishing. Anyways, the day I volunteered, it was a Monday morning, and I was given a sledgehammer and a crowbar. It was a demo day, and we went in with a group of volunteers, and we got to tear this house down to the original wall studs. Now, I had had a really bad weekend, an extremely stressful weekend in my personal life. I was never so happy as to be given a sledgehammer and a crowbar, go in and tear this thing down. It was the biggest mental break I could get. It was wonderful. So for me, volunteering, everything from a mental break to just that inside feeling good is wonderful. And you know what? There is a huge business component as well. So I started this whole rambling on, you know, it's wonderful to give paid time off to employees, to have them go out. Number one, employees are generally pretty happy. They feel good about themselves, giving back. And guess what? Your company is getting recognition out in the marketplace. People are becoming aware of your company. It's an added benefit. You know, let me be honest, I originally did get involved with Habitat for Humanity because I like houses. That's why I became a real estate agent. It looked really cool. I was trying to find something to do. And I thought, ooh, I could meet people. I could meet people who someday might be wanting to buy or sell a house. And sure enough, the very first volunteer opportunity I went to with Habitat at lunchtime, we're all sitting down, you know, who are you? What do you do? What's your job? And I mentioned I was a real estate agent, and a girl sitting next to me goes, oh, my fiance and I are just starting to look for a house. I said, oh, are you working with a realtor? Oh, no, we haven't gotten that far. I said, oh, I'd be happy to help you out. And I did end up getting a client. So yes, was it in the back of my head, I want to meet people and develop my customer base? It was. But you know what? I stayed active with Habitat. I still probably, a little bit limited now. I can only do Saturdays with them. Have I gotten any more clients? No, not really. I don't care. It still, to me, means a lot to go and make a difference. But overall, for business, there's a lot of good things that volunteering in your community can give back. Obviously, a lot of networking.
You know, from my side, one of the things that I'm looking for as actually, I'll probably hopefully buy a house in about a year, speaking of, is hopefully in a year and a half, I'm hoping to buy a house. I want to stay in my community I'm at. And it's because I've started to build connections, whether that's just taking my sister to gymnastics or the local ice cream shop owner is one of my friends. She works with the Sylvania Chamber. And I'm starting to meet people and delve into this community that it's just become important to me. But then people are also starting to know my name. It's only a couple people right now, but it's cool because, you know, like our neighbors are always calling me, and then they are doing cool things. They're opening up a bar downtown, or they just did with also. I know there's 3 owners, right? My neighbor, his brother, and another guy. I know the kids of the other guy. Like, it blew my mind. Like, once you start to get intertwined in, like, your community, it feels good. You feel included. And there's just a certain side of people that wants to feel included and validated at our core. And so, like, it gives you that satisfaction to be part of it. But then my next goal is to start getting involved, start volunteering and doing things. And you're one of my inspirations for doing that.
You're kind.
I always wonder, like, how you actually get everything done, because you are so involved and so connected to so many people. But I've only seen you thrive because of it.
Thank you.
You know, even when you're busy, you seem happy and energized and ready to be doing it. And of course, you have your stressful moments. I think we all do.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like it's worth it for you. And then to bring all of that back to your business at the end of the day, of course, is something that we strive to do, because it is a time commitment. So people want to make sure that they can make it worth their time. And that, like, all around, it sounds like it will do that. It can make your business secure. It can make your footing in the community and, like, your reputation, you can build it up so that you're the reliable person. You're that person that people want to come to. But then also at the end of the day, you're, like, satisfied after you just help demo and renovate a house and do things for people who might be otherwise struggling. So.
And it is. I mean, it is enjoyable. And you mentioned about your neighbors and all getting together and the small world. Toledo itself, I know we've got listeners around the country, probably, hopefully one of these days around the world. But Toledo itself is a very small community. And it is amazing how intertwined different businesses and different individuals are. But, you know, being out, I get to meet new people all the time and learn their stories. And again, helping and giving back is a huge benefit. It just makes our entire community stronger as a whole, and it attracts more businesses to our community. And I see so many links between things that United Way is doing to really strengthen our community that are going to bring businesses. Hey, look at all Toledo does to strengthen their community. I want to move my business here, which is going to result in more jobs. I mean, everything is all intertwined with the value. And I've just met the coolest people and the coolest leaders of our community. I mean, I like people that I just so value and respect that, they just blow my mind. I feel so small compared to a lot of people. And I know I'm no better, no worse than anybody else, but there's just some people that are just rock stars out there. And I'm very thankful that I get a chance to meet them.
I've had that feeling so many times lately, like as I've connected to people for this podcast, for the other one, just like when you meet someone, you connect and you start to realize like all that they've accomplished and all that they've done. And you're like, wow, I'm taking some inspiration while I'm sitting here. And I definitely feel that. And, like the Toledo community, the Toledo-Area community, I guess, you're right, it's small. And it's the same thing anywhere, is that the people who are involved and engaged are so tight-knit and so close. And then we do have a rising economy here. I mean, obviously everybody's affected by the virus and these shutdowns. But like I said, our neighbors just opened a business in downtown. Hinsville is still doing really well and still coming up and coming. And they're doing construction on Adams Street, driving us all crazy for a reason. So, there is all of this stuff that's starting to return to Toledo. And when I moved up here at the start of high school, Toledo was quiet. It was dark. Like, nobody went downtown. Nobody went and did that. Our Sylvania community was smaller and they didn't really have as much going on. Now, if you want to go to a farmer's market, it is like a whole festival. Every Tuesday, sometimes there's live music, there's shaved ice, there's food, all this good stuff. And then when we do have a festival downtown, the streets are packed with people. And you're always running into people and things like that. And those are, a lot of times, you have a lot of business owners and people that might be customers. Like you said, you might meet customers in there, or people that you could use for your business in there. And the thing about business is you do business with those you know. So people do business with those they know and they like. Exactly. So, and it never hurts to make connections because you don't know where it's going to lead to. My whole thing is, how can I help other people? And I try not to do it to get anything in return. It happens. I mean, I'm human. Yeah. But really, it's, how can I help and connect other people? Anything from my child needs to do service hours. Okay, well, here's some places I volunteer at that need volunteers, and here's the people to contact. There's others, I have somebody who's moving out of a house. What do I do with my furniture? Call Habitat, they'll take it. There was another one, and I'll think of it in a second. But it's really getting the connections and helping others solve their problems. Again, it's doing the right thing, and it feels good, and it does make connections for your business. Well, my friend literally closed today for her first house. And when she was talking about it, she was like, oh, we connected to a realtor. She's like, but we didn't realize we should have our own realtor to work with. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I know people too. I know all these people. And I could have hooked her up, but she, it worked out really well for them. But every step of the way now, she'll be talking to me. And I'm like, oh, well, from our experiences, And it helped clarify this, that homeowning, the different things like running a business, homeowning, all these things, they're so big and vast, and people rely on their community and their friends and their family to help them get over the hurdles that could be a lot simpler. Like some of those things, like the things that she had questions about, was panicking about, I was like, oh no, it's not a big deal. Like, and I'd explain it, and she'd be like, oh my gosh. And her stress from 3 days is gone.
Yeah.
So, and now I think I might be painting some murals and doing some interior designing for her. But
Nice.
It is like those relationships and those connections. And like you said, coming at it from a selfless angle, coming at it from how can I add value to them? How can I bring value to the table of this relationship? And you're not going to be best friends with everybody.
Not at all. And I mean, again, we're all human. We're all in, I'm not 100% selfish, however you say that word. I try and do the right thing. I'm not perfect at it. Yeah, there always isn't, something's going to happen, but, it is, I do it because it's the right thing to do. It feels good, and it's good for business as a whole. So those 3 things together, that's definitely, I said 3 things and I'm like 4. Okay. I need another coffee today, but
I was going to say.
That's okay.
All right. So my question for you is, because as somebody who is starting to get into my professional career, starting to really see what I can do, a lot of times it's overwhelming. If you've not done it before, it's so overwhelming. So how does a person approach it? How do you figure out what to get involved with, where to put your energy, and what makes sense?
That's a good question. I've been doing this for a while, much longer. The first thing I'm going to say is find something that you're extremely passionate about. That you really have a feel and a calling. Because again, the first thing you're doing is you're helping others. So finding something that really tugs at your heartstrings. And you can start small. There's different committees. You might not be on a board or some glamorous job, but really finding, where can I volunteer and give back? And that's probably the first thing. Volunteer. Get to know people through volunteering. And from there, you'll learn what you'd like to do, the people you're involved with, and it'll get noticed. As long as your heart's in what you're doing. Eventually people will start calling and say, hey, we'd really like your help with this, or hey, we'd really like your help with this. And, if you're like me and you have the I can't say no disease, sure, I'd be happy to. And I'm like, ugh, what have I done? But no, it's all, it has to be something that you're definitely passionate about.
My God, I had that disease in college.
Yes. Yeah, it's a fun disease to have. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I can burn myself out. There are times that, okay, you know what? I'm not going to volunteer this weekend because I do need a weekend to clean my house or just get away for a little bit or, and then that challenge between, hey, I've got this committee meeting, but I've got a big work thing. Work does always take priority. So, but most people understand that that's a big deal. I wouldn't be available to do the volunteering or the committee work that I do without an absolutely phenomenal boss and company. But boss and company come first, if I had to say no. But
yeah,
up until this point, it's been pretty okay. So
it's that idea of prioritization. Like you have to figure out what are your glass balls and what are your plastic balls. And that is by far my favorite metaphor ever.
Yeah. I
but
like that.
Yeah, when you're juggling all of these balls, you have to figure out which ones you can afford to drop and which ones you can't. And work is usually that thing that you can't afford to drop. So
yeah, you can't afford to drop work. Have to make sure when volunteering, doing it or, out there in committees or areas, not to fry myself. You still have to take care of yourself. I get a lot of enjoyment from what I do in the community, but I can burn myself out pretty quickly. So I'm slowly starting to learn how to take care of myself as well and not fry myself too much.
That is one of those things.
It's an ongoing progress, not perfection for me.
So that's like a reoccurring theme with like all of us these days.
Yes.
But it is one of those things. Then you look back and you realize you get that excited because you're passionate. You get to that point because you're passionate. And then you almost want to give yourself the time to refresh so that you can go back at it with the right energy too. So that's a great way to look at it. So it sounds like, start a little smaller, take off what you know you can chew, and then grow with it instead of just trying to be like,
I'm going to do everything for everybody because I can do it all. I want it all. I want it now, and I'm going to do everything.
Exactly.
Been there, done that. It doesn't work. It pops up in my head occasionally. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. No, I can't. I gotta have to learn how to say no.
I'm learning boundaries now that I've graduated because it used to be somebody. I like learning, and one of my biggest things is I can learn quickly. So if somebody would hand me something I'd never done before, I'd be like, okay, and I'd figure it out and I'd do it. But that meant I was constantly taking on projects. And so the big thing I've done since college that is in that mindset is taking on podcasts.
Yeah.
But I've controlled now how many new things I'm introducing to my life and what kind of workload I have. And I'm not perfect at it. Like you said, I still there are weeks where I'm like, okay, doing too much, Haley. You got to back off on something because something's burning you out along the way. But no, that is one of those things. And it, getting involved too, you're doing it a lot at a personal level, but as a business owner, they can do it with their company too. There are ways to pull in the company. Oh,
well, okay, perfect. Great lead in there, Haley. Thank you. So, Habitat does Project Playhouse every year. Little houses build big houses. It's a great fundraiser. It's playhouses for children to teach them about home ownership. There's a giant build every year at Fifth Third Field. I do a lot of priming and painting and helping when I can. I wish I could give more time to it, but Saturday is kind of helping with that. But I got our company involved in Project Playhouse. Great team building activity. We all get together. I get to be the Habitat Pro, so I'm not technically part of our team, but I get assigned to our company. But there's a team of people here that get together, design how they're going to decorate and build the house, and we all get together. What a great team building activity. And it does something phenomenal for the community. It's really fun. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, to put teams together to go out and volunteer. United Way has Day of Caring. I used to do that with my old company where we would, we can't leave the company completely unattended with people, but you can get small groups of people to say, hey, you need to go to this nonprofit. They really need landscaping. So we're going to go out on a beautiful summer day and go do some landscaping. Volunteers are needed everywhere. So, yeah, it's a great team building activity to get your employees together.
It is.
It's a great gift you can give to your employees and give to the community.
There is one thing that, when we're talking about employees, you're talking about retention is important. Creating a great team dynamic and a desire to participate and be part of the company, as well as communicating your strategy and your goals. And a lot of that, it comes back to engagement. How engaged and passionate do the employees feel? And a volunteering opportunity or getting involved once in a while, even taking and sectioning off volunteer days where portions of your company or certain teams go out and volunteer at specific times, can help you increase that engagement, that passion, can help you teach them to work together better because suddenly they're doing it in a different environment and they're learning more about each other.
Oh, without a doubt, yes.
It is cool because I haven't had, it's always, Project Playhouse the last couple of years has popped up on days where I'm not able to go. It bums me out. But it is really cool to see the people who do go and the way they work together and the excitement that they bring back. And it doesn't have to be they always well, what if they're not working? I was like, well, what if they're not working one day, but their productivity for the next month is much, much higher? How much money do you save? How much money do you make? What kind of culture are you cultivating then? What are the benefits that you reap from a little downtime? It's that same principle of sometimes adding in games and breaks and changing the way the work environment is can actually increase productivity. Yeah. Despite the fact that they may be physically at their desk less.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I know for sure I could sometimes get more done in 1 hour than I can get in an entire day if I'm motivated.
If you're motivated.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing.
Yeah. It's a huge thing. And like I said, the ability to get involved and do more, it sounds like it's extremely refreshing from your perspective, just at the personal level, but then what you bring back to like our company and what a business leader can bring back by getting everybody involved is huge. And there's the marketing side too, the brand awareness.
It's the brand awareness. Again, look, the basics. It's the right thing to do. Giving back to those you're passionate about that are making a change in the community. It's the right thing to do. Following up with that, it's the personal satisfaction and growth. But tying it to the business, it helps your business, as you said, employee retention, employee engagement, employee interest, and then, yes, brand recognition and potentially referrals, because you get to know a lot of people and somebody's like, yeah, I'm having this trouble with my CRM software. Oh, really? I might have a solution for you. Going out and giving solutions. I don't know how to, I'm having a hard time with my janitorial staff showing up on time. I might have a solution for that as well. It's getting to know people. The core is, it's the right thing to do, but there's so many benefits on the back end of that, of people know, oh, I didn't know about your company. Yeah,
well, now you do.
Pretty cool what we do. And then making the connections. Oh, it might not even be for my product, but somebody's like, oh, well, I need to know, I'm having this thing. Oh, well, let me connect you with this person. And it's remembered. Yeah. So there's so many good things to do.
It's really easy for people to bring up the negative. That's why when you go online, the written reviews tend to be the 1 stars versus like positive. Sometimes you have to pull. And referrals, word of mouth referrals throughout your community, and just getting people, whether it's for people knowing you personally and like what you can do for people, or your company and what you sell as a product or service, that when they are friends with you, people like to talk and brag about the people they feel they are close to and they know, right? And it's the same thing. Like if I go out somewhere, I can brag about Jill. I know Jill, she's one of my friends, right? But then that has the added benefit. If they need somebody that does what you do, oh, well, Jill.
I know somebody.
Yeah.
You want to sell a house? I know somebody who can do that for you.
Right? Yeah. So that's the same thing, because they want to help their friends. They want to do the same thing that you want to do. They want to help their friends and they want to help people. But also they have good feelings and stuff that they associate with you because of the good things that you do. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. So I would ask, though, as we wrap up, do you have any advice that you would like to give to anybody who might be listening right now?
Start small. Business owners, it definitely pays to get engaged. The business dividends will be enormous. Definitely, again, find something that you're extremely passionate about, that really tugs at your heartstrings, and start small. But just do something. Find out what your passion is, do something, start small, and go make a difference.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. I would say, don't bite off more than you can chew, but don't make excuses not to start.
Exactly. So. I like that phrase. That works. And thank you for making this a comfortable event. I do a lot of videos, and I was a little bit nervous today, so thank you for making it easy.
Well, I'm glad you're not nervous anymore.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on. I'm very glad to have you. I'm glad we get to finally.
I put it off, but
I think you spread the word about our podcast, so I'm sure quite a few people remember you.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you, Jill, for coming on, and thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you again next week.